Daryl Ruiter, Browns beat reporter, talked about the state of the Browns earlier today.
We just can't defend the indefensible.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that Shedeur Sanders took the field with the wrong wristband, I really don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care who's to blame. It's something that just should not happen. It's the Brownsiest thing ever. This is what this franchise has been. This is what, unfortunately, it continues to be. And they don't know how to build a team from ownership on down. God love the Haslams. They spend a ton of money. They want to win more than anybody. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to hire the right people. And then when the people come in here, they don't know how to build a team. And you're seeing the byproducts of that. And the shame of it is that this is not a team this year that's devoid of talent. There is talent on both sides of the ball. Obviously, more talent on the defensive side. The offensive line has been decimated. You got practice squad guys now having to play significant roles up front, but that organization does not know how to win. They do not know how to build a team. They don't, they talk the big game, but they never produce it for their fans. And I got news for you. Kevin Stefanski's probably going to get fired. It don't matter. I don't think it's going to matter.
Let's welcome Jimmy. You were back last segment. I can't argue with anything he said. The thing is, you're looking for a big guy that kind of is the big picture overseer, everything. What guy that has that kind of experience in the NFL is going to want to come into this situation? Unless you're looking for Mr. Fix-It, that views it as a challenge to cement a legacy.
Yeah, the question is, and if the Browns are going to make changes, and every week it looks more and more like they're going to make changes, the question is not who is the right fit for this. The question is, how do you sell that person the job? I mean, yes, sure, ask that question, but it's kind of irrelevant if you can't get the right person for the job, because nobody trusts your leaders, the leadership that is in place, the people you can't fire, right? The sports is the best gig in sports is owning a professional franchise, right? Because you get to do whatever you want. And who really do you account to? Sure, people might boo you, but they can't get you out of there. Unless you go, we've seen it with the Clippers and Donald Sterling. Unless you do the undoable, say the unsayable, you kind of get to do whatever you want. And the Haslams, the thing about that, I do believe that they mean well. They spend a lot of money, which a lot of people, it sounds like an easy thing to do. That's not how every owner approaches their team. It's not about winning. Sometimes it's a vanity project, or it's a vehicle through which to make money, and they cut corners on that sort of thing. So I always say that you can, with ownership in sports, you can ask them to spend money, or you can expect them to spend money, and you can expect them to stay out of the way, but you can't expect them to do both. The best ownership groups are the groups that give people the resources they need to make decisions and give them full autonomy to make those decisions. But the problem, very human conflict. I'm going to throw all this money at you and I don't get to have a say in it, especially when I myself have built some pretty impressive in different parts of the world, different ecosystems. The business world is not the sports world, clearly, but they've had some success in their day, and that gives you some confidence. And so a lot of people come into this, as the Haslams did, and they've taken some piece of accountability on this. Said, well, when you asked them in the offseason, I think they talked at training camps, like, well, what have you learned from your failures? And Jimmy chuckled, and they said, you would think not much, right? But I think they've tried. They tried with this regime in particular after the Watson trade, which, maybe we'll never know exactly how much say they had over it. I tend to think they had a little bit. I think they tried to take a step back and say, well, okay, that didn't work again. So you guys are the football guys. You guys are the most successful football guys that we've had. Let's let you take a shot at this. But it was already too late because the Watson contract had sunk you. And I think when you come in, their big message in the offseason was the learning from mistakes was going to be, we're going to be patient and we're not going to count every win. And that's all out the window because it just seems broken. It's really not about 3-11, though it is true, as I said to you guys last week, that every organization since 2023 who has lost consecutive games, look, it's 10 games in consecutive seasons. Every organization that has lost 10 games in consecutive seasons since 2023, there are 8 of them, have changed coaches during that time. That's how the NFL works. But from an outsider to come in, I still think Kevin Stefanski has a pretty good reputation in coaching circles. Andrew Berry came from Philadelphia. He's going to get another job. It's not going to be as a leader of a front office, but he's going to get another job out of this. He's considered a smart football executive. He was before this. Other people are going to look at them getting fired after essentially you can trace every failure that the Browns have right now back to the picks and money that was spent on Deshaun Watson. And if the public perception is that ownership did that, how does the next guy come in and trust that they are going to have, that he or she is going to have the time and the resources and the patience required to dig out of what is clearly a very deep, dark hole? I'm with you. I can't disagree with what Daryl said. It's at a certain point, it's like, we can change the scenery, we can shuffle the deck chairs, but like Titanic's still going down.